Good morning, everyone. This is Michael, and I'm substituting for Tuya this week, and maybe a little longer. She'll be joining us for various activities when she can. And we will be having on the 20th, I anticipate that she'll be there for the Esoteric United Nations meeting. And further, we will have, I hope within the next day or so, a meeting for those who would like to make their commitment to that meditative process. So we're working now with the reappearance of the Christ, and we'll have a little bit of reading from that. I'm somewhat skipping around in the book, but there is a little continuity now between what I read last time. And we're talking about the uniqueness of the impending mission of the Christ. This is from page 62 in the Reappearance book. The uniqueness of the impending mission of the Christ and the uniqueness of his opportunity consist in the fact that he is able in himself to give expression to two divine energies, the energy of love and the energy of will, the magnetic potency of love and the dynamic effectiveness of the divine will. Let us say that this presentation of the energy of will is something intensified over his last appearance. Never before in the long history of humanity has such a revelation been possible. It's not just the question of the equipment, of the individual offering an energy, but I suppose humanity's ability to receive it and to act upon it. The work and the teaching of the Christ will be hard for the Christian world to accept, though easier of assimilation in the East. Nevertheless, some hard blow or some difficult presentation of the truth is badly needed if the Christian world is to be awakened, and if the Christian people are to recognize their place within a worldwide divine revelation, and to see Christ as representing all the faiths and taking his rightful place as world teacher. He is the world teacher and not a Christian teacher. He himself told us that he had other folds, and to them he has meant as much as he has meant to the Orthodox Christian. They may not call him Christ, but they have their own name for him and follow him as truly and as faithfully as their Western brethren. Let us look for a moment at the erroneous interpretations given to the gospel story. The symbolism of that gospel story, an ancient story presented often down the ages, prior to the coming of the Christ in Palestine, has been twisted and distorted by theologians until the crystalline purity of the early teaching and the unique simplicity of the Christ have disappeared in a travesty of errors and in a mummery of ritual, money, and human ambitions. Christ is pictured today as having been born in an unnatural manner, as having taught and preached for 3 years, and then as having been crucified and eventually resurrected, leaving people, leaving humanity, in order to sit at the right hand of God in austere and distant pomp. Likewise, all other approaches to God by any other people at any time and in any country are regarded by the Orthodox Christian as wrong approaches, as being practiced by so-called heathen, and as requiring Christian interference. The glamour of interference, by the way, is a notable sixth ray glamour. Excuse me, little morning voice there. Every possible effort has been made to force Orthodox Christianity on those who accept the inspiration and the teaching of the Buddha, or of others who have been responsible for preserving the divine continuity of revelation. The emphasis has been, as we all well know, upon the, quote, blood sacrifice of the Christ, upon the cross, and upon a salvation dependent upon the recognition and acceptance of that sacrifice. The vicarious at-one-ment, or atonement, has been substituted for the reliance which Christ himself enjoined us to place upon our own divinity. The Church of Christ has made itself famous and futile, as the World War proved, for its narrow creed, its wrong emphasis, its clerical pomp, its spurious authority, its material riches, and its presentation of a dead Christ. His resurrection is accepted, but the major appeal of the churches has been upon his death. Well, that's quite an indictment of the way Christianity has functioned. So I'll make a note here that we are ending on 16 July 20 and beginning, I assume, on the 23rd of July 20. We have to change all this, and it's not easy, but through the process of education, it does become possible. And many of us are educators, and we've had the opportunity to speak with people who are on the borderland of accepting new possibilities, a new narrative, which is much closer to describing the Christ and his church as it really is. Of course, you know, we really don't know how it really is, because we're talking about the masters of the wisdom about whom we know a little bit, and we're talking about the head of the spiritual hierarchy whose plans are deep and remote from our knowledge, but the simplicity of his message that we can certainly teach, and we'll be going over some of Christ's teachings, which will be very welcome in the long run amongst humanity, because they will make sense out of our life rather than immerse us in a field which is fanciful and really not appealing to so many millions and millions, and so narrow and exclusive. We will have to overcome all that, and it will be overcome to a great extent in the Aquarian age. Okay, friends. So let us now continue, and we'll work with our meditation. Breathing in at first the white light, and achieving a state of inner poise, and we imagine that we see our co-disciples in the light. And these will be people with whom we work to bring the ageless wisdom forward, and members also of our triangles. The people with whom we associate, such people working for the welfare of humanity. And in general, we visualize the light and the goodwill and the love passing between the members of our triangles and amongst those with whom we work to make a better world. And so we achieve a positive personality quietness, and we formulate clearly to ourselves, in our own words, in the light of the soul, the answers to the following questions. As a member of the new group of world servers, what is my specific fixed intention at this moment of dedicated contact with my soul? Next question. Is my concentrated and expressed personality purpose in line with hierarchical intention as far as I am permitted to know it. Third question: have I, in my own personal daily life, earned the right, because of definite effort and not so much because of success, to stand with those servers who are now undertaking the work of preparation? And I think each of us in our own ways will know how, as a soul in incarnation, and under the light of the soul on its own plane, to answer these questions truthfully and meaningfully, and then, of course, to improve so that our answers are more and more in the affirmative. So in answering the questions, we are aligning the personality upon the mental plane. So having answered the three questions in the light of the soul, then we say this powerful mantram together. In some way it's very demanding, and it separates the sheep from the goats, as the old story goes. Forgetting the things which lie behind, I will strive towards my higher spiritual possibilities. I dedicate myself anew to the service of the coming one, and will do all I can to prepare men's minds and hearts for that event. I have no other life intention. Next, we visualize the world situation as best we can, each of us in terms of our major world interests and with what knowledge of world affairs we may possess. We see the mass of men everywhere glowing with a dim light. And here and there, points of brighter light where members of the new group of world servers and men and women of spiritual intention and of loving hearts are working for their fellow human beings. And then we visualize through the creative imagination the vivid light of hierarchy, streaming towards humanity and slowly merging with the light which is already in the human race. Then we say together the first verse of the great invocation. From the point of light within the mind of God, let light stream forth into the minds of men. Let light descend on earth. And then we ponder upon the reappearance of the Christ, what it would be like to have the Christ with us in visibility, visible to all, as the great teacher, recognized by at least some at first, eventually I think by virtually all, and realize that no matter by what name he may be called in the many world religions, he is still the same great identity. Humanity is in a way so adrift these days. But that will no longer be the case when the Christ is the guide and his hierarchy is working directly with humanity in a visible manner. So let us reflect upon the possible results of his reappearance. We cannot say that all selfishness will disappear immediately, but so much of it will. And true human helpfulness will begin to arise strongly. He will come, we are told, when a measure of peace has been restored, when the principle of sharing is at least in process of controlling economic affairs, and when the churches and political groups have begun to clean house. And then the kingdom of God on earth will be publicly recognized and will no longer be a thing of dreams and of wishful thinking and of orthodox hope. Just think of that for a moment. And with these beneficent outcomes in mind, we say together the second verse. From the point of love within the heart of God, let love stream forth into the hearts of men. May Christ return to earth. we endeavor to concentrate our fixed intention to serve and to spread love in our surroundings. And we realize that insofar as we can do these things, we are attempting to blend our personal will with the divine will. God's will is love. And then we say together the third verse. From the center where the will of God is known, let purpose guide the little wills of men, the purpose which the masters know and serve. And we lay our practical plans for the coming week to further the preparations for the coming of the Christ and his spiritual hierarchy. And we remember that we are part of a group of working forerunners. The era of the forerunners still for another 5 years. And we are called upon to act and to do our part in bringing the divine plan, as much as we can understand it, forward. Each of us contributing to the manifestation of that plan in different ways, but of course to let people know about the world servers and about the hierarchy and about the great teacher as he more truly is. This will be a great service. So let us respond as much as possible to the vibration of the Christ. And let us commit ourselves in His name with this mantra. We have gathered in your name, Lord Maitreya. Be with us. And we know that wherever two or more are gathered in His name, there He will be. We might think of Him as the spirit of loving relationship. And now we sound the Om 3 times, dedicating the threefold personality to the work of preparation. Thank you, everybody, for attending. We continue tonight at the Zoom link, which is the same for every Thursday and the same for every Friday. We continue with the Zoom link dealing with the ability to identify as being and to enter that deeper level of realization that our true identity is everything that we see and that we substand all. So maybe you can join us. That will be at 5 p.m. GMT, and we will continue the next day with our work concerning glamour, dissipation of glamour, and deeper work in cosmic fire in the evening. So, lots of love and many blessings from Tuya and myself and from the whole communications team. We try earnestly and ongoingly to bring you these meditations, and among them especially the meditations which Master DK has devised for us. So until then, our next meeting we enjoin you to develop the esoteric attitude, and with your fellow students of esotericism to contribute what you can of your attention, your love, your thought, your presence to the externalization of the hierarchy and the reappearance of the Christ.
At the center of all love I stand, and from that center